Blake's ex-girlfriend plagiarized his new song. And I exposed her in public. Under the pressure of public opinion, she quit the entertainment industry and got married. And finally died from domestic violence. Blake didn't shed a single tear for her. But after I helped him reach the position of a music king, he guided his fans to cyberbully me, causing me to die in agony after being splashed with sulfuric acid. Even if she plagiarized, what right do you have to meddle in other people's business? When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn on the day when my first love preemptively released Blake's new song. This time, I directly accepted a huge compensation and terminated the contract. Let's see what kind of achievements Blake can make without my support. Countless flashing lights illuminated the man on the stage holding the trophy. Blake. The host teased. Blake has only had one top lyricist, Nina, by his side for so many years. Is there good news coming soon? People around me made a racket and egged me on. And I couldn't help blushing. Blake and I have been in love for many years. He once promised me that he would propose to me in public after winning this big award. I wrote dozens of lyrics and finally helped Blake reach the position of a music king. I was both excited and expectant. Blake glanced at me in the audience with a half smile and picked up the microphone. Taking this opportunity, I'd like to clarify that Nina and I are just in a cooperative relationship. I know that Nina has made some inappropriate moves towards me in public, but considering our many years of cooperation, I hope we can both maintain some dignity. Many people cast awkward glances at me, and my smile froze on my face. The host asked in confusion, Blake, we all know that you have a song that you composed and wrote the lyrics for yourself, called First Love. Isn't it written for Nina? Of course not. Blake seemed to have heard the most ridiculous joke. This song is written for my only lover. I sat in the audience, constantly stung by Blake's words, with a buzzing in my ears. But my consciousness was unusually clear. I had always thought that the song First Love, which Blake insisted on writing the lyrics for himself, was written for me. But now, I suddenly thought of someone. Luna. Luna was Blake's first love during his college years. After graduation, they both entered the entertainment industry. But they gradually drifted apart due to their different outlooks on life. When I met Blake, he had just been broken up with by Luna. Under severe stimulation, he couldn't write a new song for a long time. And he was almost going crazy. I had just entered the industry not long ago and was arranged by the talent show program team to be by Blake's side to create songs with this little-known artist. So, I encouraged Blake to cheer up and spent a full month pulling him out of the state of a broken heart. Then we created a song called Frustration, together without sleep. The moment we heard the demo, Blake and I were so excited that we shed tears, anticipating that this song would definitely become a huge hit. Unexpectedly, Luna came to visit Blake on the set. Blake was overjoyed. But he didn't know that after Luna went back, she covered and preemptively released Frustration overnight. The glory that should have belonged to us was all taken away by Luna. She was in the limelight, while Blake and I were in a sorry state. Out of anger, I took out the evidence and exposed Luna during the live broadcast of the program. And it immediately became a trending topic. Luna was exposed for what she was like, a drowned rat, and soon quit the entertainment industry and married a parvenu. After a few years, I heard that she couldn't bear the domestic violence and died with serious illnesses. Blake and I became popular because of that program, became close partners, and took advantage of the momentum to soar. We supported each other all the way and achieved each other's peaks. It was only natural for us to be together. We were the most compatible people in the world. But I never expected that Blake would hate me for so many years because of Luna, and didn't hesitate to slander me on such an important occasion. He knew clearly that there were tens of millions of netizens watching this Golden Melody Festival, and what he said would kill me. Sure enough, as soon as the festival ended, instead of waiting for Blake's explanation, I waited for one of Blake's fanatics. She hid in the dark, rushed towards me frantically, shouting extremely dirty words, and splashed all the sulfuric acid in her hand on me. The excruciating pain made me suffocate instantly. Before my consciousness dissipated, I seemed to be held in someone's arms. A familiar song came to my ears, and my body seemed to be constantly shaken. I opened my eyes warily and saw a face that was crying with joy. Nina. It's a success. Our frustration will definitely become a huge hit. I looked at the young and handsome Blake in front of me. He was wearing cheap off-brand clothes. And his hair wasn't carefully styled. But he still had an outstanding temperament. The look in his eyes when he looked at me no longer contained complex emotions. Only simple joys. Sorrows. Angers. And pleasures. I slightly closed my eyes. And the song in my ears was the demo of frustration. I was actually reborn 10 years ago. At this time, I had just cooperated with Blake for the first time and created frustration, which was the starting point of all the stories. Blake's phone suddenly rang. And a name with a heart on the screen kept flashing: Luna. His face changed several times. And finally, he patted his chest and chose to answer the phone. What? You're coming to visit the set? He hesitated and glanced at me. And finally went downstairs to pick up Luna. I knew that Luna would steal this song frustration. I took one last look at the dancing notes on the screen, which carried the hard work of Blake and me. Then I walked away without looking back. In this life, I won't care about Luna anymore. And I don't want to cooperate with Blake either. There are thousands of Blakes in the entertainment industry. But there is only one Nina like me. The next day, Luna's version of frustration was released on the internet and became an overnight hit. Blake was completely stunned. The next competition was coming soon. And if Blake couldn't submit a song, he would be eliminated. He never expected that his long-cherished first love would use him thoroughly and then discard him like garbage. The PD who was following and filming the program couldn't stand it anymore and encouraged Blake to confront Luna and get the song back. Blake retorted without thinking. How can that be? The song has already been released under Luna's name. I can't ruin her. The PD sighed in disappointment and stopped talking. Blake looked at me, who was watching coldly from the side, and pleaded for help. Nina. Why don't we write another song? Although the time is a bit tight, both of us are capable. And we can definitely write it if we push ourselves. I sneered. There's only a week left. Do you think I'm Doraemon? Besides, even if we write it, do you think it can be as outstanding as frustration? The fire in Blake's eyes gradually faded, and he crouched on the ground in frustration, pulling his hair violently. How could this happen? What should I do now? In my previous life, I couldn't stand Blake's decadent appearance. Not only did I not ask him to pay the liquidated damages, but I also went to expose Luna. Although I saved Blake, it also made this love-struck man hate me for a lifetime. He coaxed me to help him step by step to the throne of the Music King. And then he couldn't wait to take revenge for Luna. In this life, I won't be as stupid as a moth to a flame. Let go of the heart to save others and respect other people's fates. I turned around and went out, and when I came back, I carried a bag of wine and a document. Blake opened a bottle of wine and poured it into his mouth. He looked at me decadently and said, Nina, if we can't submit a song, we're done for. I expressionlessly threw the document in front of him. Blake, it's not that we're done for. But you're done for. Because of your negligence. My work was leaked. Since you don't want to go after Luna, then you can pay the liquidated damages to me on her behalf. After you sign this document, we won't cooperate anymore. Another singer has taken the initiative to ask the program team to be in a group with me. And I will go to his side. In this life, I will fulfill Blake's deep affection, having fulfilled my stake, but he also has to make up for my losses. I don't mind adding insult to injury to his already difficult situation. Blake stared at me in shock and didn't come to his senses for a long time. Nina, how can you go to someone else's group? And where do I have the money to give you? I took a deep breath and finally couldn't help retorting at him. Blake, but I'm so my obsession. You're the evergreen tree among those who fawn over others. The pillar among jokers. The mascot of McDonald's. And a major customer of Batman. I have no objection to you sacrificing yourself for your great love. But don't forget that frustration is also my work. Why should I be a part of your drama with Luna? I don't know which part of my words stimulated Blake. He looked at the photo of him and Luna in his phone, and then at the huge number in my document. Finally, having sustoblea, he gritted his teeth and signed the document. Go. Leave quickly. There are plenty of lyricists. And I don't need you. I put away the document with satisfaction. Whether you sell yourself or borrow from others, I want to receive this money the day after tomorrow at the latest. Otherwise, you know the consequences. After saying that, I walked away without looking back. This time, I want to see what kind of achievements this love-struck Blake can make without my lyrics. I went to find that mysterious new partner. The moment I pushed open the door of the recording studio, I heard his magnetic and deep voice. I'm not unfamiliar with this voice. Without looking at the face behind the glass, I could tell who he was. Leo. In my previous life, he was as famous as Blake and was a music king. Unlike Blake, who was excellent at composing but lacking in lyric writing, Leo was a versatile artist. His vocal timbre was diverse. His music style was unique, and his lyrics were thought-provoking. At this point in time, Leo had already become a popular contestant through an original song in the audition, while I was just an unknown person. Why did he choose me? Could it be that my talent couldn't be contained anymore? After Leo finished recording the song, I showed an awkward yet polite smile. Since Leo has already written this song, why did you ask me to cooperate? I think two of the lyrics are not good, and I want you to take a look at them for me. Leo smiled and lowered his head, revealing a pair of small dimples. We'll be partners from now on. You don't have to be so polite, sister. Just call me Leo. I have to say that Leo at this time was really tender and cute. I even wanted to pinch his face. I took the music score and carefully considered the lyrics on it. This was a love song called Your Night, which told a story of secret love. And there was a touch of faint affection between the lines. Leo's lyric writing at this time was indeed a bit raw. I picked up the pen and changed a few sentences, and the whole song came to life immediately. Leo and I spent most of the day in the recording studio before finally finalizing the final version of the work. I smiled and teased Leo. Sister will definitely find an opportunity to make you tell this story of secret love. The redness on Leo's ears spread to his neck. His eyes flickered, and he simply lowered his head and didn't look at me. Why didn't I know that Leo was so easily shy in my previous life? So cute. Alright. I won't tease you anymore. Let's call it a day and go back to rest. I turned around to push the door, but I didn't notice a wire on the ground. Accidentally, I tripped over it, lost my balance, and fell forward. Realizing that I was about to experience a mortifying moment in public, I closed my eyes resignedly. But then I fell into a warm embrace. My whole body trembled, although I didn't open my eyes. The warmth and touch of this embrace, along with the faint fragrance that reached the tip of my nose, immediately brought back the last scene from my previous life. At the moment when my whole body was being burned by sulfuric acid, someone rushed over regardless of everything and picked me up. That was the last ray of light I perceived before being pushed into hell. Sister? Are you okay? A concerned male voice came to my ear, and I opened my eyes, falling into Leo's enchanting peach blossom eyes. So it was him in my previous life. On the eve of the initial stage of the show, Blake asked to meet me, saying that he wanted to transfer the liquidated damages to me in person. I went to the appointment, but I didn't expect Luna to be there too. I composed myself and took a seat opposite them. Luna snuggled affectionately beside Blake and raised her eyebrows at me provocatively. Nina, thank you for taking care of my Blake during this period. I don't know how to thank you enough. It seemed that these two had made up, because of their common interests? Worf. I had no expression on my face and said, no need for thanks. Just transfer the money you owe. Luna sensed the hidden meaning in my words, and her smile froze on her face. She gently shook Blake's arm. Blake immediately frowned and said discontentedly, Nina, I treat you as a friend. Why do you mention money as soon as you open your mouth? I spat out the water I had just drunk onto his face. Be his friend? Did I look like someone who was that cheap? Blake wiped the water splashed on his face angrily, while I wiped my mouth unhurriedly. After all, you two don't mean to renege on the debt, do you? The initial stage is coming soon. If I accidentally let it slip. That song frustration. The flustered look appeared on Luna's face, and she immediately said, it's just money, isn't it? I have plenty of money now. I'll give it to you. Consider it that I bought your song. However, from now on, You're not allowed to mention the matter of frustration again. I looked at her with disdain and said, this song is already trash in my eyes. Do you think I would care about it? Luna gritted her teeth in anger at me, took a deep breath, and was about to say something more. I directly thrust my phone in front of her, making her see clearly the surveillance video I had saved of her stealing the song. If you dawdle for another minute, I might regret it. Then I won't want your compensation anymore and will insist on posting this video online. How will you deal with that? Although Luna was furious, she still maintained her rationality and transferred a sum of money to me. I counted the zeros with satisfaction and then got up to leave. Wait. Blake, Webarolosai, who had been silent all this time, suddenly called out to me. His eyes were full of complex emotions. After hesitating for a long time, he slowly asked, Mina, can you take my number out of the blacklist? That'll cost you extra. I chuckled and walked away without looking back. I was so badly hurt by him in my previous life. Why should I keep his contact information? Am I doing it just to make myself feel miserable? When the initial stage arrived, I never expected that Luna would be Blake's supporting singer. And the two of them sang Frustration, together. There was a burst of cheering from below, and Luna smiled sweetly at the camera. I haven't told everyone before, but this song was actually created by Blake and me together. It's our joint work. Blake composed the music and I wrote the lyrics. I hope you all like it. Everyone in the production team who knew the inside story fell silent, and their expressions all turned unpleasant at the same time. However, since they had all been in the entertainment industry, they could still keep their cool. One by one, they cooperated with Luna's performance, pushing the atmosphere of the whole audience to a climax. The three judges gave scores of 10, 9, and 9 respectively. It was only 2 points away from a perfect score. Blake's real-time popularity quickly took the first place, and Luna also became an instant hit. The two of them were on the trending list, occupying several topics. A real couple's duet of frustration is so perfectly matched the talented singers Blake and Luna Mom. I believe in love again. I roughly calculated the amount of money they could earn that night and was shocked to realize that the liquidated damages were simply negligible. No wonder Luna gave the money so readily. I had really suffered a great loss. Just as I was completely engulfed by negative emotions, a gentle sister suddenly came from behind me. I turned around and saw Leo in white walking towards me like a ray of light from the darkness. His makeup and styling were cold and noble, faintly exuding a sense of sharpness and aggression, but his eyes were gentle and firm. I was in a trance for a moment and almost drowned in those peach blossom eyes. Sister, I'm so nervous. Can you give me a hug? Although Leo was the finale of the night, he had already experienced all kinds of stages. How could he be nervous? But for some reason, I still couldn't help but hug this figure in white. Leo's chin rested lightly on my shoulder, and his voice clearly reached my ears. Sister, Blake is nothing. I want you to know that I, Leo, am your best choice. I stood there in a daze and couldn't figure out the meaning of this sentence for a long time. But Leo had already gone on stage. He was born to belong to the stage. The man's deep voice slowly flowed in the venue, and a story of a night was told by him in a soft voice. His voice was gentle, but his expression was distant. Occasionally, he raised his eyes and looked at the camera, and his eyes became affectionate and focused, as if it was a silent confession. The lazy and seductive sexual tension was diluted by the retro and romantic atmosphere, and the whole stage presented a sexy and blurred ambience, just like a faint warm breeze gently brushing across your face, making you feel the deep and lasting love. After the song ended, the audience erupted into unprecedented applause and screams. If the previous frustration was like a sudden thunderclap, then the current tonight was like an unceasing tsunami. All three judges gave a score of 10. Leo became famous overnight. As soon as this song came out, it immediately pushed Blake's trending topic down. Leo took the microphone, and his first words were, "Without my lyricist Mina, there would be no such song." The cameraman gave me a close-up of my expression, and my slightly guilty but a bit proud expression was magnified on the screen. I just changed a few words, but he praised me as if the song couldn't be written without me. It's really embarrassing. After the successive competitions ended, Leo and I created a total of 12 songs. And each one became a huge hit. The feeling of collaborating with Leo was even more enjoyable and tacit than when I collaborated with Blake. I felt that my ability had also been elevated to a higher level. As expected, Leo won over Blake with an overwhelming advantage and took the first place. And the names of Leo and me were also firmly on the trending list. To my surprise, the direction of the top few trending topics seemed to be different from what I had imagined. On the finale night, Leo's eyes when looking at her are not innocent. The untold secrets between the talented singer and the sweet lyricist. Leo said he would tell everyone the good news. My hands were shaking like those of a person with Parkinson's disease. I took a big gulp of water and clicked on the last topic. The video was an individual interview with Leo on the finale night. At that time, I was playing werewolf with the production team, so I didn't notice what Leo had said. Leo, here's a question that everyone is very concerned about. Do you have a girlfriend now? Leo smiled gently and said, I'm working on it. I'll tell everyone if there's good news. I was so angry that I almost exploded. This guy is becoming extremely popular and is in a crucial stage of career advancement. It seems that he could establish the persona of an idol singer and attract a wave of female fans. Isn't he cutting off his own path by saying such things at this time? Moreover, my career has been tied to his. How much money will we lose because of his words? Although I have enough money to spend now. Who would dislike having too much money? I angrily clicked on the second topic. I really wanted to see which beautiful lyricist had made Leo lose his mind. As soon as I glanced at that black and bold name, I immediately turned off the phone screen. No, there must be something wrong with the way I opened it. Why did I see my own name? I pressed my wildly beating heart and opened the phone with trembling hands. There was someone with the online name, YWNQAngshen, who made revelations like crazy. Leo participated in this show because of Nina. Leo could have directly signed with the company and released his personal album. But after hearing that Nina was also participating, he gave up all the opportunities and signed up for the show's audition. Someone asked below, do you mean they knew each other before participating in the show? YWNQAngshen, of course. Leo chose to be a singer because of Nina in the first place. My thoughts were in a mess. Like a ball of wool that I couldn't sort out no matter what. Whether in this life or the previous life. In my impression, I only met Leo for the first time on this show. YWNQAngshen also released a photo, which was a side profile of a girl with a ponytail. That was me not long after I entered university. At that time, although I was majoring in engineering, I was obsessed with writing lyrics and often stayed in the library, studying and polishing words and sentences. I seem to remember. My first lyric was written for a boy wearing a mask. At that time in the library, I caught a glimpse of the dancing notes on his computer. They clearly carried the deep emotions of the author. But the mouse hesitated over the delete button. I secretly stuffed a note to him. Why do you want to delete it? He looked around and then replied to me with a note. Because my family has arranged for me to study business abroad. And I have to give up singing. In this way, we had a silent conversation. In the end, I wrote a densely packed page of lyrics for that song which I had only glanced at and gave it to him. The name of that song was The Seed. For a long time afterward, I often ran into that masked boy in the library and wrote notes to encourage him. Until one day, he handed me the last note. I'm going abroad. To Berkeley. Thank you. So that boy was Leo. So there was a predestined connection between us. I clicked on the first topic with the word explosive in front of it. It was a collection of Leo's highlight screenshots compiled by his fans. At the end of each stage, Leo would look at a display screen gently and affectionately. Behind that display screen, there was only me sitting. Leo and Blake signed with the same top media company and became highly promoted singers. When choosing a fixed collaborating lyricist, unexpectedly, just like Leo, Blake also chose me. I didn't know how to meet Leo, but I could meet Blake with a clear conscience. In this life, without my help, Blake was still a talented emerging singer. However, there were too many talented singers in the entertainment industry. Without my lyrics, his works all lacked the crucial finishing touch. and after a short period of popularity, they were soon forgotten by people. I pushed the door open and entered. Blake's appearance was already very different from when he first participated in the talent show. Under the packaging, all the advantages of his appearance were highlighted. For some reason, the moment he saw me, his eyes instantly turned red, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes, as if he had found something that he thought was lost. "Nina," he murmured absentmindedly, and I was in a trance for a moment. In my previous life, when it was just the two of us in private, Blake always liked to hold me in his arms and call me like this affectionately. But he would never show the slightest bit of intimacy with me in front of others, for fear that others would know he had a girlfriend. This was the biggest difference between him and Leo. No, why am I thinking of Leo again? Blake pulled out the chair beside him for me, but I sat opposite him with a cold expression. "Say what you want quickly. I'm in a hurry." Blake's eyebrows and eyes immediately drooped, looking very hurt. Finally, heading so Feldmeyer. He leaned over to me in a flattering way and said, "Nina, don't be angry anymore. I've broken up with Luna." My eyebrows immediately furrowed tightly. What the hell does his breakup with Luna have to do with me? Why should I be angry with him? However, out of a gossipy mindset, I couldn't help but ask, is it because of the company contract? In my last life, he was head over heels in love with this first love. Apart from reasons related to fame and fortune, I really couldn't figure out any other reasons. Blake shook his head. "It's because of you." I raised my eyebrows in surprise and looked at him, not knowing what to say for a moment. Blake was silent for a while, and handed me the sheet music on the table. "Nina, will you help me write the lyrics?" I took the sheet music and hummed the tune on it. After humming just a few lines, I stood there stunned as if struck by lightning. This sheet music was the work with which Blake finally won the Golden Melody Award in my last life. Blake had also been reborn. Blake suddenly grabbed my hand and pressed me fiercely into his arms. "Nina, it was all my fault in the last life. It was clearly Luna who brought trouble upon herself. But I hated you for a lifetime because of it. I didn't want to lose you. I just wanted you to experience the cyberbullying that Luna suffered once. You know I didn't want you to die. But I didn't expect those fans to be so crazy. Do you know how I lived without you? I felt like a walking corpse. My body was on the stage, but my soul seemed to have gone with you. Nina, I love you. I love you. But I only realized this feeling after you were gone. Will you give me another chance? I don't want to be a music king anymore. Let's make our relationship public right away. In this life, I want everyone to know that Nina is my girlfriend." I struggled desperately in his arms, but he seemed to be possessed, holding me tightly. It was as if I didn't agree, he would hold me like this for a lifetime. "Blake, I don't love you. Let me go right now." Blake was teasing me like a child. "You're talking nonsense. If you don't love me, who else could you love?" I was so angry that my lips were trembling. Suddenly, the gentle smile flashed through my mind. I closed my eyes and shouted, "Leo! I want Leo. Not you." Before I could finish speaking, the door of the conference room was kicked open. Leo, still in the posture of kicking the door, stared blankly at me, and his ears turned completely red. I chose Leo, officially signed the contract, and became Leo's lyricist. Blake came to me like a madman, waiting for me at the door of my studio every day, but was blocked by my assistants. He looked tall, but in fact, he was very frail. Leo released a solo album, which sold out as soon as it was launched. Blake was determined to compete with Leo and also released a solo album without showing any weakness. His popularity actually tied with Leo's. Out of curiosity, I clicked on that album. When I saw the song list, I was stunned for a moment, and then a wave of nausea came over me. The songs in it were all written by Blake and me in the last life, carrying countless efforts of mine. I don't know if Blake did it to anger me, but now all the lyricists in it have been replaced by Luna. Luna got such a great bargain for nothing. She was poached by the company to be Blake's top lyricist, and her worth also increased accordingly. He resorted to such unscrupulous means in order to compete with Leo. He even did such despicable things. Blake, you let out a low sigh. Full of pride, came to me and said in a condescending manner, "Mina, as long as you come back to me, I'll make Luna leave immediately and give you everything that should be yours." I held back the fishy sweetness in my throat. Bah! In your dreams. With these two solo albums, Blake and Leo won numerous awards and became first-line singers overnight. Just then, went out a low sigh. A top music variety show, I Am the God of Songs, extended an olive branch to them. Each singer in each episode has to create and perform an original song. And finally, a God of Songs will be selected among these first-line singers. As Leo's partner, Leo and I naturally recorded the show together, which also inevitably led to meetings with Blake and Luna. Luna put her arm around Blake's arm defiantly, and her red lips curled into a contemptuous smile. "Mina, I know that those songs of Leo were all written by himself, and it's just your name on them. Now this music variety show is live broadcast throughout. Don't cry too pitifully then." Seeing that I ignored her, Luna pouted and wanted Blake to speak for her. But when she turned her head, she saw Blake staring straight at me. The expression on her face changed constantly. Finally, heading so fellway upside, she held her head high and put on the posture of a winner. "By the way, I still want to thank you. Thank you for not pestering our Blake, so that our Blake could realize his true feelings and come back to me. Although we are recording the show together this time, I still hope you can know your place and don't let all kinds of people come knocking on our Blake's door." Blake suddenly interrupted Luna's monologue. "Mina, the promise I made to you before is still valid." I looked in his direction, and the disgust in my eyes disappeared instantly. I suddenly showed a sweet smile, which made Blake dazed for a moment. "Mina." The next moment, I asked towards behind Blake, "Leo, why did you come out? I'm afraid that if I come out a little later, sister won't want me anymore." Leo's makeup was only half done. He didn't even give Blake and the others a glance. He strode towards me and whispered in my ear, "Sister, they won't be able to act up for a few more days." I raised my eyebrows and saw the mischievous look in this little fox's eyes. When the first episode of the show was broadcast, Leo and I performed at our normal level, and our work steadily topped the playback list. Unexpectedly, Blake's group was a huge disappointment. The composition was okay, but the lyrics were extremely bad. They had no depth, first rhymes, and didn't make any sense. It was completely different from the level of the songs in his album. They firmly ranked last. The trending searches were full of scolding towards Luna. "Sister, if you're not good at Chinese, can you go back to primary school and repeat it? Don't ruin our Blake." I just can't figure out why the Divine songs before and this kindergarten level work were written by the same person. Damn Luna. Get out of here. It would be great if Blake's lyricist was Mina. Hey, you can just scold Luna properly. Why are you snatching our sister-in-law from us? Sister-in-law belongs to brother Yi. You can't snatch her away. When I saw Luna again, instead of being angry, she laughed and confidently threatened me. "Mina, I don't believe you can keep writing lyrics. We will definitely turn the situation around in the next episode." "Okay. I'm waiting." Unexpectedly, in the second episode, Blake's song had a qualitative leap all of a sudden. It rushed to the top 3 all at once. The online public opinion about Blake and Luna began to reverse. People started to make excuses for the last episode, saying that Luna was not feeling well. Fans of all kinds began to vote crazily for Blake to strive for the first place. I felt that something was wrong, but I couldn't capture it sharply. Just when the whole network was in a heated debate, the staff of the program team collectively came forward and revealed a lot of evidence. It turned out that Blake's song in the second episode was written by someone else, and Luna's name was put on it. In the face of irrefutable evidence, Luna couldn't defend herself and could only issue a statement of apology together with Blake. The online comments were instantly divided into 2 groups. One group was criticizing Luna's behavior of deceiving everyone and incidentally reducing Blake's popularity among the general public to rock bottom. The other group was Blake's diehard fans and the fans of the Zhang Huang CP. Their excuses were very strange. "I've already said that Luna hasn't been feeling well recently. What's wrong with occasionally finding an outsouser? Don't be so nitpicky." That's right. Blake himself didn't say anything. Besides, The program effect was good, and everyone about to hear nice songs. What else do you want? Why can't I use the lyrics I bought? Don't I have the right to use the things I bought? I think Luna did nothing wrong. I just shook my head when I saw these comments. Luna's mistake wasn't that she bought the lyrics, but that after buying the lyrics, she deceived everyone into thinking that she wrote them herself. The contract of this program originally required that all works should be original throughout. Since Luna wanted to take advantage of the loopholes in the rules, she had to bear the consequence of paying the liquidated damages and also give everyone an explanation. Finally, the official account of the program team announced that Blake would be withdrawn from the program recording and had to pay a huge amount of liquidated damages. I raised my head from my phone and took a bite of the fruit that Leo handed me. My mouth was full as I mumbled, "Did you do this?" Leo immediately put on a pitiful look. "Sister, I was wrong. I shouldn't have let my cousin accidentally send the lyrics I wrote to Luna's email. I shouldn't have sold that song in my cousin's name either. It's all my fault." I stared at his tender lips and swallowed hard, not listening to a single word he said. Just then, let out a low sigh. Another explosive piece of news was revealed online. It was a recording from the original talent show for Blake and Leo. It was leaked by the staff, and everyone immediately recognized it as Blake's voice. Mina. I didn't expect Luna to be so ruthless. She covered and preemptively released off frustration. She's trying to ruin us. The time is tight now. How about we make another song? No. How can we expose her? She has already released this song. She won't be able to make a living like this. One explosive statement after another instantly set the whole network on fire. Those who had spoken up for Blake and Luna before also chose to remain silent like cowards. Luna came to me in a rage and was about to slap me. "I clearly paid you the liquidated damages. Why did you release this?" Looking at the slap getting closer and closer to my face, I stood there in a daze. "I didn't release it." A strong force pulled me into someone's arms, and a cold voice came from above my head. "It has nothing to do with sister. I released it." This was the first time I saw Leo so cold, but I wasn't afraid. Instead, I felt a sense of security. Now you either choose to quit the entertainment industry or try to go head to head with me. Luna was so angry that she lost her mind. She roared with a ferocious face. "Who the hell do you think you are? Sister, didn't you say you've always wanted to try this one? I queued up for a long time to buy it for you." Leo chuckled and stuffed the milk tea into my hand, not even looking at her. After I took a big sip of the milk tea with satisfaction, he turned to Luna and pulled a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. "My surname is Gu. Gu from Leo Family Pictures." Luna's face turned pale instantly. The Leo family was one of the largest film and television production companies in the world, the king of capital among capitals. Luna didn't dare to shout anymore and left in a hurry. Just like in my last life. She quit the entertainment industry, married a parvenu, and became a mistress. With these explosive news, Blake couldn't stay out of trouble either. The company put him on ice. And with that shameless recording of his released, the whole network scolded him like a drowned rat. He could only compose music but not write lyrics. With such a big scandal, he had no shows to appear on, no songs to record, and was beaten wherever he went. He tasted the hardships at the bottom of society in his time of poverty and despair. The only variety show he received in 5 years was one where he had to play an ugly role and be teased by the guests to win the audience's laughter, which made him lose all his dignity. Looking at him on the show, sweating profusely but having to force a smile, I suddenly felt relieved. Leo's winning work on "I Am the God of Songs" was called "The Seed." This song was completely different from his previous style. It was green and immature, but it also carried the pure dreams of a young man. It expressed confusion, entanglement, the struggle against the world, and finally the choice to be true to one's heart. But seeing that everyone could recall their own original aspirations that they were still insisting on, were almost gave up on in this song. Leo stood on the stage, holding the microphone and smiling gently. "I'm just an assistant. A really amazing one is my lyricist. And also my beloved Mina. I'm honored to accompany her to share the glory." He stood on the stage dazzlingly and opened his arms wide towards me from a distance. I ran onto the stage in a white dress and hugged him passionately. Excitedly, hissing so sadly. And in perfect harmony. Thank each other for achieving each other. The end of the full text.